The land down under has never been easier to reach. United Airlines has more flights between the U.S. and Australia than any other U.S. airline, so you can fly nonstop to destinations like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Explore dazzling cities, savor the very best of Aussie cuisine, and get up close and personal with the wildlife. Who doesn't want to hold a koala? Go to united.com/Australia to book your adventure.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today, we're going to be talking about turn-offs and what your wife finds the most gross about you. Always a pleasant topic to start your day off, or whenever you're listening to this. So, we are going to be talking about the sorts of things that women wait a long time to tell men, and why men don't even realize that, and how real quick and easy these fixes might be if you understand what they are. So, before we do that, please do subscribe. My most recent subscriber episode, which I think was number 80, is about, oh, God even remembers. What is it about? I could make some stuff up. Or, it was about why your wife hates when you drink. So we're really on a roll with why your wife does not like various things about you, which probably you knew, if you would ever sit down and think about it, but many people don't. So anyway, you would be so surprised at the number of men who don't brush their teeth twice a day, just to start with that one. I mean, maybe you're not. Maybe you're a guy who's like, wait, what? Twice a day? What the fuck is she talking about? But yeah, you're supposed to brush your teeth twice a day. You could Google that. If anybody does not believe me on this, your dentist has been remiss. You have not been doing a good job going to the dentist or something. But yeah, you're supposed to brush your teeth twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. And for any guy who's like, what's this patronizing shit? Of course I know how to take care of myself. I mean, listen, unless you're getting laid 3 times a day and she's begging for it, who knows? Maybe you too have a hygiene issue. So you might want to be coachable instead of defensive, which is another point I'll get to, and listen anyway, But, okay, so you're supposed to shower at least once a day. If you exercise in the middle of the day, you got to shower after that. You always got to shower after you exercise. You generally have to smell very good for a woman to want to be with you. Women have a very keen sense of smell. And in pregnancy, this becomes way crazier. Like, their sense of smell becomes like superwoman. So, and for some people, it doesn't go back, and it just kind of always is very, very attuned, like their sense of smell is very strong, and they can smell really anything bad about you. And so if you do not smell good, your wife also doesn't want to hurt your feelings, which again, I know you think is just so funny probably every time I say it, but she really doesn't. To women, this is like a big deal. Guys would be like, you stink, bro, or whatever. Like if a guy stinks in the locker room. If a girl tells another girl she stinks, it's like a bad thing. It's like very bad. And if you're like, it's a double standard, I can't tell my wife she stinks. You're right. You also can't menstruate. You can't have a baby. There's lots of things you can't do. But yeah, if your wife is the one with a hygiene problem, you got to tell her also, but you would, yes, have to do it much more gently. I'll tell you that when women try to say this to their husband more gently, frequently the husband does not hear it. So first of all, she's waited like months, if not years, to tell him. I'm not even joking. I work with women, they've been married for like 10, 20 years, and they have never figured out how to tell their husband that he has bad breath. Not joking. Because to a woman, it's such a bad thing to hear. It makes you feel so horrible that you think that it's going to like destroy the man's ego. So like for decades, you've been like, why don't you try an Altoid? And they're always like, I don't like Altoids. And they don't think anything of it. That's why you got to be very, very, very direct. You can't say stuff in the way that you would want to hear it. You can't be like, I bought this new body wash and I think it would be so wonderful if you smelled like hibiscus. No, you can't say that. You got to say, you don't shower enough. It's interfering with our sex life. I'm never going to sleep with you unless you took a shower in a few hours at least before we had sex. So, or, moderate that for whatever, that day, or that week, or whatever your tolerance is. But it's never going to be that week, guys. That was just a joke. So, You got to say, I can't have sex with you unless you shower. We can't kiss unless you brush your teeth. Or there's some people that don't go to the dentist at all, and so they have like real chronic bad breath. And I don't know why men don't go to the dentist, but a lot of them don't. And so if you need your husband to go to the dentist before you kiss him, and you're a person who needs to kiss before you have sex, I mean, come on, like the guy has to be aware of this stuff very, very, very directly. So guys, if she has ever said anything to you about your hygiene, ever, think it's the tip of the iceberg. It's the tip. She only told you 1% of how much it distresses her. So you should hopefully be having a dawning feeling of horror, like, oh my God, she has actually asked me to have a breath mint before, and I'm like, I don't like that shit. I'm not eating a breath mint. Why? First of all, if anyone ever tells you to take a breath mint, always take a breath mint, always. Or just don't be near them. Just assume they think you have bad breath, so just like leave. Or certainly don't try to kiss them or be close to them, so that those are your choices. You can either do the thing that makes you more appealing physiologically or not. But if it's not, don't also expect to be close. If your whole identity is predicated on being a man who does not like Altoids, then it's also going to be a celibate man who does not like Altoids. And that should not be an issue to you, because it is irrational to assume that a woman would want to get close to somebody who is disgusting. And a sense of smell that is really heightened, which women have, means that you are disgusting if you smell bad. Like, disgusting. There's no way for you to in any way make up for that. If you smell bad, it's just a no. It's a complete disgust response, non-starter. This doesn't mean anything about the woman at all. It doesn't mean that she's not into sex. It doesn't mean she's not into you. But she will be not into you if she thinks that you're a stubborn bastard. So if she has said things like, you don't smell good, take a shower, and you're like, I already took a shower. It's like when my kids tell me I already cleaned. I'll be like, clean up your bedroom. I already cleaned. Well, no, you didn't, because if cleaning is not a subjective psychological experience. If I don't think you cleaned it, you didn't clean it. It doesn't look clean. Perception is reality in the cleaning sphere, right? So it's the same thing with hygiene. If she doesn't think that you smell good, you don't. You just don't. I mean, that's just what it is. So if she says, can you brush your teeth before we have sex? So she should. Like, if you're listening to this, you're a woman, that's how you need to say it. You need to brush your teeth before we have sex. I can't have sex with you unless you brush your teeth. You need to shower before we have sex. I cannot have sex with you unless you shower and you scrub yourself really good. Like, you really have to just get you got to be strong, be courageous. Remember, it hurts his feelings so much more if you don't have sex with him than if you tell him that he stinks. That's just the truth. Every single man I've ever met, would rather be having sex after being told that they do not have good hygiene. Something you can remedy. Hygiene is wonderful because you can always remedy it. So yes, it's a little bit different if you're like, you are so overweight that I can't have sex with you. Well, shit, they can't really do something about that. Some people can, some people it's very, very hard to, like these, as you know, if you've ever tried to lose weight, it doesn't go the same for everybody. And a lot of research shows that people end up back at the same weight kind of no matter what they try. After they've already been overweight for a long time, it's very hard to reset your natural set point to something different. So sure, if your spouse, and that's something I'll get to, some people are disgusted by somebody being overweight. I'll just get to it now. Some people are disgusted by people who are overweight. This is a harder thing. It sometimes means that they're disgusted by the proxy variable of lazy, and they associate your weight change or your body shape change with being lazy. So if you always used to go to the gym before kids, now you don't go to the gym because you're too busy coaching Little League or what have you, then they may associate that you don't look the same with lazy, and lazy may be the real turnoff. So if you go to the gym, then no matter what the hell you end up looking like, she may like you better because at least you're not lazy. I could think about different ways to say this that don't use the words lazy or overweight, but why? I'd rather just speak, quickly and efficiently to you. So this is the truth. But if she is really disgusted by the fact that you've put on 20 pounds and you no longer, fit into the size 30 waist jeans that you always had, try to get into better shape. But I mean, I've talked to you a lot about how most women don't really give a shit the way that guys think that they do, but there are some women that are very visual and they themselves are super into fitness, and for them it matters. So if your wife is a gym bunny, she's not going to like if you have a beer belly. This is just the truth. And you could try to fix the beer belly. But hygiene, going back to the easier one, hygiene is such an easy solve if you allow yourself to be coachable. Women want a man who's coachable. You know, the most disgusting turnoff out of everything is a defensive, babyish man who you say, hey, you did X, and he's like, I didn't do X, and if I did do X, X is the right thing to do. It's like, oh my God, like, you know, you try to train a child to act more open-minded than that about getting feedback. So definitely if a grown-ass man, if you're like, you smell bad, and he's like, no, I don't. I mean, holy shit, you just compounded your error by like 1,000,000%, right? Because now it's like talking to a child. It's like saying to a kid, I just saw you eat that candy. Told you not to eat that candy before dinner, and with the candy in his mouth, he says, what candy? Nothing's in my mouth. Like, come on. Like, no, you're lying. So anyway, you want to seem coachable and open-minded to your wife. This is what's attractive and appealing to women. This is what men get out of sports, by the way. Like if you've been on a team, you know, then you kind of respond differently and you seem more coachable and more responsive to feedback. This is how being athletic actually helps a man later on in relationships. Because if you've been part of a team, a team sport where you had to receive feedback in order to help the entire team, then you're going to be better at hearing that you smell bad, and the team therefore cannot have sex. So what you need to do as a team member is take a fucking shower, and then the team gets to have sex. So, but men that do not have experiences with being part of a team, whether it's on a sport or whether it's at work or whether honestly it was growing up with other siblings, can help you be coachable because they give you feedback all the damn time. If your husband or if you listening don't have any of these experiences where you were ever able to receive feedback well, then you're not going to be able to receive feedback well about hygiene, about sex, about anything else. And I do have a podcast that reminds me on how to receive sexual feedback from your wife. Just type in feedback after Dr. Psych Mom Show and you should get it, I would imagine. And it talks about the same things. You got to be coachable. You got to be open-minded. You got to be receptive to feedback. So in terms of hygiene, one might think this is a black and white issue, but I'll tell you, man, it's not, because I've been in private practice since 2009, and people will literally be like, no, it doesn't matter how much I shower. She doesn't want to sleep with me anyway. And I'll literally be talking to the woman. She's like, he smells bad. He smells bad. He's gross. He wears the same clothes all the time. He'll shower, but then he'll put on the same nasty clothes. And I'll tell him, hey, maybe you should change your clothes. First mistake, she should be like, change your clothes or we don't have sex. Like, you only need to say that a couple times usually. But anyway, again, she doesn't want to hurt his feelings. She doesn't want to, be a bitch. I don't really know. So anyway, so he puts on the same nasty underwear after the shower, which of course obviates the shower. Might as well not have showered in the first place. So, and if you're a woman, you're like, why would I tell a grown-ass man not to put on the same nasty-ass clothes? Well, shit, you complain about your mother-in-law. Don't you think that she made many, many mistakes? Well, this was one of them. Apparently, she didn't tell him that we changed into new clothes after the shower. So you can't both say that a man grew up like he was raised by wolves, but then also expect him to have somehow learned along the way what to do in terms of hygiene. And this resonates with probably 95% of my female listeners. Like, if you don't think that somebody really trained him how to be good, how are you also going to say he should have learned how to be good in whatever way? So that's your job as a teammate in this marriage. I'm not saying you have to do it all the time, but you have to do it extremely directly once or possibly twice. You have to say, here's what a shower means to me. A shower means you get in there, it's at least 10 minutes of hot water and soap, and this loofah here, or a loofah of your choosing, not just your hands. Also, you have to shave the whole undercarriage, you have to shave your balls, whatever the hell you want them to shave. You have to really scrub at these things. That is a shower. Don't come out here before 10-15 minutes, and that is a shower. You should really only have to say that once in your marriage, and he should know that it's a shower. But many women do not ever say it, but yet they think somehow he was supposed to know this. Men don't sit around reading shit like my daughters. I have two preteen daughters. Like, they read magazines. It's like, here's your 15-point skincare routine. It's like, men don't read that shit. They don't read it. They do not know what it means frequently to take care of their hygiene. They really don't know. So if you're a man Googling this and you're like, basic hygiene for men, how to take a shower, then you are in the minority, and bully for you. You are a very smart man to actually research it, but the majority of your cohort does not, and instead they remain in filthy ignorance. So if you are a man and your wife has ever told you or insinuated or laughed about that you are dirty, sloppy, that your clothes are nasty from years ago, just say, take me shopping. Let's get the clothes that you want to see me in. You got to be coachable. You cannot be a man who's complaining about his sex life but also wants to wear his college t-shirt and graduated college in 2003. You can't. Like, that's just not an option. So what is the takeaway from this? Many men smell and look a lot worse than they think they do. And and if you're a woman, you got to tell him explicitly, this is what I think of your hygiene. It is really a C-, and you got to brush your teeth twice a day. Do it with the same kind of toothbrush that I get from me and the kids. Don't do it with this piece of shit toothbrush that we bought on a trip one time 10 years ago and you never changed out. Actually take a fucking shower. Here's what I think grooming looks like. And then maybe, I'm not going to be disgusted. Really. I mean, you got to really lay it out there. It's so funny that women will be like, no, I won't have sex with him for 3 months, but I don't want to hurt his feelings by telling him why. Listen, his feelings are already hurt because you didn't have sex with him for 3 months. He's not doing well anyway. It can only go up from here. So if there is a pragmatic reason why you do not want to sleep with your husband, such as he smells bad, you must tell him. Otherwise, you're not being a good wife and you're not being a good team player. And all this stuff about a grown-ass man ought to already know how to do this, that, and whatever. That is just a cop-out. That's some bullshit. He obviously doesn't know, right? And neither do lots of other guys. If you ask your husband something like, how do I pay the mortgage? And he's like, how's a grown-ass woman, 40 years old, not know how to pay a mortgage? You would probably want to push him out a window. So don't respond like that if you wouldn't want somebody to respond like that to you, because you don't know everything either. You don't know everything either. Like myself, I don't know directions. I couldn't find my way out of a paper bag. So if I turn around, I said to my husband, which direction do we walk out of, a hotel on vacation to get to the elevator, which I never know. And he was like, how could you get to be 41 years old, not know? I mean, I would leave. I would leave the vacation. So would like anybody, if they were talked to like that. So don't talk to your husband like that. That's like that whole man cold bullshit. Do not talk down to your husband. If he doesn't know something, tell him. Same as you would want him to tell you, because there's plenty of shit you don't know too. Every person has blind spots, every human being. Nobody's perfect. So anyway, point of the matter is a shower, just like she has an addendum, a shower, by the way, is like 10 to 15 minutes of scrubbing your body with soap that bubbles. So just get body wash, get a washcloth, a loofah, get something that's going to scrape the muck off of you. Be in the hot shower, wash your hair all the time. If you're a man, you don't wait, you're in there, your head's in there too. So wash that, wash all the parts of your body. Wash your feet, wash your legs, wash every part of your body, and also make sure that you're well groomed. And you can certainly Google how to groom your under parts on GQ or Men's Health or whatever. They'll tell you how to do that with a razor or a clipper if things are very bad. And brush your teeth twice a day at least. What is the downside of doing it another time? And use one of the vibrating ones, the spinny brushes. So yeah, like why not, right? I mean, why not see how on point you could get your hygiene? If she likes cologne, have her buy you some kind of cologne, or go test them out together at Sephora. Buy her stuff at Sephora and you buy something at Sephora. Sephora is a makeup place. So it has cologne and perfume. And buy deodorant that she likes. likes. When you go to CVS, say, do you like how this deodorant smells? Why not get her opinion? She could have a strong opinion. So she may hate your deodorant. You may not wear enough deodorant. There may be lots of problems going on. So if you're listening to this is one that, I always say, don't have your wife listen to my podcast because so many of you really fucking did this too much. But this is one that really a woman cannot get offended about. There's literally no way for her to get offended about it. It's about you and your lack of hygiene. Remember how much she loves to talk about your problems. I know she can't bring this one up possibly because she wants to be nice, but here I am making it so easy for her. So basically you would just be like, do you think I should listen to this podcast about hygiene? Do you think that there's anything I could possibly get out of it? Do you want to listen to it together and see if there's anything that you agree with at all? I think just because it doesn't talk about sex, it just says, she might have sex if you smell better, no shit. And so she might be open to this one. Really. I mean, it's really going to be a non-defensive one for women listening. If you give her one of my podcasts that's like, here's why, your wife is sexually repressed. Yeah, no shit. She's not going to want to listen to that. Maybe she will, bully for her if she's one of the few women who wants their husband to give them a podcast that says, this is why you're sexually repressed. I don't think I have that title, but you know what I mean. Then sure, then that's great. She's coachable. She's open-minded. But many people do not want to be handed something that's like, here's why you have a problem. But they always want to hear, here's where I have a problem. Here's why I have a problem. Do you find me dirty and smelly? Oh, is that a problem for you? They may get really excited by this topic. So it may be an entry point to something that they've wanted to bring up for years and can't. So why not try? All right. I hope this was useful. If at least one man is clean as a whistle because of this and gets even one more sexual encounter, then this has done its job. And I'll talk to y'all soon.